My 26F bosses, 27M girlfriend, 20SF won't stop harassing me. I'm a personal assistant and I've worked for my boss for 3 years. He has an ex-girlfriend who he has been dating for around a year. She's never liked me and is always complaining about certain things I do for my boss, despite these things being a part of my job description. Recently they had a massive fight and she decided to harass me over text. She's convinced we're having an affair because of something he said to her and is calling me a home wrecker and a WH //. She wouldn't stop even after I corrected her and politely asked her to stop involving me in their relationship drama, so I had to ask him to ask her to stop. I think they broke up because now she has her friends harassing me too. They keep pressuring me to quit because she thinks they can't be together unless I do now. They've been spamming me on social media and calling and texting me to the point where it's interfering with work. She's even shown up whilst I was working to accuse me of things. It's been a big mess and I really just want her to stop. I'm honestly considering quitting because it's getting too much for me now, especially since they've been harassing my boyfriend and he broke up with me over the things she was saying. How do I get them to stop? Also, how do I fix things with my boyfriend? Too long didn't read. Boss's ex-girlfriend is convinced we're having an affair and won't stop harassing me now. This is so far beyond appropriate it's mind-blowing. Save copies and print out every text. Call a meeting with HR and have them invite your boss. Use the term hostile workplace. Use it repeatedly. Be sure to call this whole thing exactly what it is by using terms like harassment and sexual harassment if you are being accused of having an affair. Use all of these terms boldly and liberally. Do not attempt to solve this politely. Document everything. If your boss didn't put an end to this after the first text you got from her, he should be fired. He should be fired anyway for letting her get her hands on your contact information. That is a major breach of your right to privacy at work. Edit, to repeat, this is not your fault and you should not be the one punished by having to quit. Your boss should be fired. Go to the police. This is harassment. Tell her through whatever medium she is contacting you that you are blocking her and that if she or her friends/family contact you again you'll be reporting her to the police for harassment. Take screenshots and keep a written log of all the times she and her friends have gotten in touch with you via social media and in person. Do contact the police if she continues with this behavior. You should file a police report for harassment. You should also report her behavior to HR, if your work has an HR. You may want to talk to a lawyer about additional options about you. For example, if she's making up lies about you to other people, you may be able to bring slander charges. As for the boyfriend thing, if he believes her over you, I'm not really sure that you can fix things with him, or should want to. He's supposed to be on your side and the fact that he bought what she was saying without getting your side of it suggests that he isn't a loyal partner, and your partner should be loyal. I think a police report is a great way to have this on the record, even if they don't pursue anything. My boyfriend's sister cannot stand even the sight of me. Too long didn't read. Me, 23F, and my boyfriend, 22 meters, have been dating for just over a year and our relationship is going great except I'm constantly walking on eggshells around his sister, 21F. I'm the first girl he's ever brought home so I expected some kind of road bumps to get over, but his sister has been hot and cold with me since day one and now it's worse than ever. Within the first month of us dating, his sister spread rumors about me on her private accounts to all our co-workers, and when he confronted her about it, she apologized to me and I thought we moved past it. Her and I have spent plenty of time in the beginning just talking. I let her vent to me all the time. She would reach out to me constantly to get a hold of him if she needed to. She would tag along with my BF and I a lot, and then suddenly she got slightly more distant. Nothing changed on my part. Now a few months go by. My BF and I get a dog. I asked her to not post the dog online, especially since the past we had between us where she intentionally tried to make me look bad, but because I personally don't like to post my private life online in order to stay professional at my old job. After that talk, she didn't speak to my BF or I for a month. Figured everyone was tense BC of quarantine and maybe I was too direct last time we talked. Finally she starts talking to us again, but she doesn't talk to me anymore normal, and she never hangs around my BF or me. During the summer, she and I talked just regular, and I even remember tanning outside and it all feeling semi-normal with her. Throughout the summer my BF and I had to travel between our families' homes to help, so we ended up traveling safely quite a bit, but his sister was not invited by his family and I couldn't bring her to the one family member's house on my side. We didn't think much of this since she's already clearly distanced herself from my BF's family BC of how she treats them so nasty, but also because she had plenty to go and see with her own boyfriend. Then one day a friend of mine told me the sister posted "How do I tell my brother I don't like his GF" on her private story. My BF confronts her and they have a long talk. It's not resolved, but she got to vent and so did he about the issues between them, so I think that it's okay. She spends half the night blowing up my BF's phone about every ridiculous thing she hates about me, and for every one text he replies to, she sends 5 more. All her reasons were that I wasn't housewife enough for my BF and that he shouldn't be doing things like cooking for me. She also claimed I mistreated the family, but they've all personally said I haven't done anything malicious to them. I asked her if she wants to talk to me about this all and that I think it's all a misunderstanding. She wouldn't even answer my call and my texts are met with nasty replies. Now within the last 2 months, the last time I saw her, she screamed and hollered at me and yelled vulgarities at me as soon as we were alone. The way she talked to me, I wouldn't talk to anyone else. I even have a video which I showed my BF later on. But I stayed calm and didn't feed into her yelling. I left and the grandmother told the sister to leave the house before I was back. My BF didn't talk to his sister for the next 2 weeks until I told him I need some kind of action. I had tried to let it go the whole time, but it physically bothered me so much that I couldn't even defend myself. So her birthday is coming up and he called her to say he wasn't going to her birthday dinner BC of how immature she handled the situation. She immediately disowns him and they both end up blocking each other, but constantly I hear from the grandmother about how his sister is still getting mad about me, even though she can't name anything I've done to wrong her. Their whole family complains about how terrible the sister is and how she's been nasty for years, so that just how she is, but it's making me go crazy. I'm constantly checking to see if she's talking about me online, and it turns my stomach when the grandmother mentions another phone call about me from the sister. All in all, I feel like it's obvious that it's just her jealousy that her brother is with someone else now, but I just don't know how to resolve the situation or ever trust her again in the future. My ex's sister was kind of like this, albeit more subtle. It won't get better unless he stops talking to her and seeing her all together. As you and the other comments said, she's jealous and trying to drive you away. Your BF has mostly done right by just ignoring her. She is lashing out for attention, and by refusing to give it to her, she'll eventually calm down. Don't bother trusting her again or talking to her again. If you run into her, be civil, but don't get friendly with her again. Your BF is cutting her off, which means she doesn't have to be a part of your life, and I suggest you let it be that way. Ironically, this probably has nothing to do with you personally. Better title is "My BF's sister is difficult and I am her latest victim." She's a bully and the family has not set boundaries. She is forcing the family to make choices. Not sure you will ever win. This never gets better, especially if it isn't addressed. Welcome to your future. There is no resolution to a lifelong problem like this. She likely has untreated or undertreated mental health issues. Set boundaries and stick with them. These might include stating out loud that you do not want to hear about phone calls from sister from other family members if they were about you. "I'm sorry, this isn't something I want to hear about again. It makes me feel upset and uncomfortable. Can we please talk about anything else?" If they move on to another subject, that's great. If not, immediately step out of the room. They'll figure it out. It would be better if your BF did the boundary setting with his family, but it's not uncalled for if you request to not hear about someone else saying bad things about you. The problem is all her. You and your BF have tried every reasonable solution. Block her, ignore her, don't talk to her, don't ask about her, don't attend family functions where she'll be present. She's not worth all of this emotional turmoil. I am in a 4 years relationship and I feel there's something very wrong with it. I am terrible at figuring it out. I need advice. Long post. I am terrible in finding out what's the real problem here. I can tell you the symptoms, please help me with the diagnosis. Are these issues serious or am I just overthinking? English is not my native language. There might be some grammatical errors here, so please ignore them. I am 23, am in my first relationship with a girl, F23, since 3 years and 10 months. We are both medical students in the same class. I'm an amateur at relationships, because my friend circle in school was just about playing soccer and studies. I was good with books but not at all with people. I really knew nothing how to behave when I was with my girlfriend at first and chose the best plan of action I knew. Just be like a brainless blob and do whatever she wanted to do. On our first date, she was the one who kept the conversation going. I was a very shy person in the start and took some time opening up to her. If I was angry about something, I just kept it in me for the fear that she will get hurt. But now I have grown a lot emotionally. I still need to grow a bit more, and have gained confidence in getting things out to her. I will just tell her what I want and I can discuss it with her. I am more open. I previously thought my relationship is a good one, but now that I've seen some problems on this subreddit, I have inferred that there were some major behaviors of her that I didn't pay attention to and just brushed it off like it must be normal coming from my zero experience. She doesn't feel like she has real friends. I know she has people who would really care about her if she approaches them, but she just distances herself with them. They try to get close to her but she will just not put in effort in her friendships. How can I help her here forge a better friendship? She has admitted previously that I am the only reason for her happiness. She doesn't feel as happy when she's not with me. Is this a bad thing or it's nothing to worry about? Sometimes I just read a text and forget to reply. I know it's a bad habit, but I always reply to important messages. I sometimes subconsciously filter out texts like good morning, good night, I love you. We say hello more than 10 times a day to each other and I may only miss replying to 1 or 2. I've explained this to her many times that not to get upset about it. But even after that, she sometimes gets frustrated that I ignored her text and just permanently deletes it. It still doesn't bother me what the text was about. Sometimes, not always, she will even stay mad about this for hours. Her behavior is unpredictable, and I become anxious about how will she react. This happened during the pandemic one night. She calls me up at 3 o'clock at night and tell me that she can't sleep and is feeling low. We talk for over 30 to 40 minutes and she tells me that she suppresses her emotions in front of others and do not feel like herself. She also have suicidal thoughts. I console her. Next day she asked if we can go to a hotel so she could just be with me, but I refuse because of COVID. Then she gets frustrated and sad that I thought her condition is not anything serious. But I never refused to come meet her or talk to her, and I even asked her friends to talk to her more. Then at night again she gives me a condition that please just stay the night with me, then just don't come to meet me till 1 month. I just don't want to go to a hotel because of COVID, but I am not refusing to go and spend time with her. She's not even considering going to a psychiatrist to seek medical help. Her excuse is that I'm afraid of doctors. Sometime later, but now her condition is a bit better. No suicidal thoughts. What's wrong here? Should I have gone with her to spend the night, but my family would have worried about me too much because they are very afraid of COVID. Also she can't take care of her physical health. In 3rd year of college she only went for runs if I came with her. She stopped going if I went to play football instead of running. She admits that she is overweight, and her family history says she's at risk for hypertension. She keeps saying she'll get fit since more than 1 year, but never once did she really put in any real effort to make it happen. Always I have to remind her to control her diet. I have to go for runs with her. She might start working out on her own. but only for a few days, no more. This was really weird. We had a discussion to go to trauma center to learn basic clinical skills, but when I come to pick her up she dresses up like we're going on a vacation and then gets flustered because she thought we'll go somewhere to spend time together. I asks her what's wrong, but she refuses to tell me, saying you don't need to understand, it's my own problem, and just asks me to drop her home. The next day she gets upset when I told her I'll not come to meet her because I wanted to study at my home. Throughout our relationship I've felt like I need to always think twice before saying anything which will offend her. She's not at all abusive but too sensitive to what I say and how I react to situations. If I say I need to get home now, I'm getting late, she'll make a face and say why do you need to go? Stay with me a little more. And even if I decide to stay with her, she feels guilty that she made me stay. Nowadays she just accepts when I tell her I need to go home and doesn't try to stop me, but I can clearly see that she still feels flustered and struggles with her emotions when I say it to her. I don't like to see her suffer this way, and feel guilty of leaving too early. I feel like I am not giving her enough time and should have stayed a little longer. She always asked me, jokingly, what I saw in her that made me choose her. And I always reply that she's cute. But still she keeps asking it every second week or so. Is this just a funny conversation? But why does she always keeps asking it? Am I overthinking with this? This was the weirdest. This happened before the pandemic. It's her birthday and I had a lot of great gifts prepared for her. I planned a date for her alone with me. Good time with her friends. I even convinced her friends for a one-day trip out of town which she really wanted. I stayed the night to cut the cake in college at 12 o'clock and she was very happy that I stayed to be with her. All her friends were there. We celebrated, played and danced. We even kissed in front of everybody and it was perfect. Then it was getting late so I went to the boys' hostel and she went to hers. We planned to go on a trip out of town the next day and this was to be kept a secret from her. We woke up early morning on her birthday to see the sunrise from a fort in our city. On the way she asked if I would stay the night with her in a hotel. I didn't want to reveal the surprise so I lied yes. At the fort every friend gave her a gift and we had a good time. Next, I had a date planned with her for lunch, so I went to the hostel to get ready. Then we got to know that one of our friends had a surprise test the next day so we wouldn't be able to go on the trip and we decided to go 2 days later. At lunch I told her about the trip and that I would not be able to stay with her tonight, because I needed to go home so that my parents would allow me to go on the trip. If I stay out for too long then they'd probably get worried. She understood but I could make out that she was upset about something. Lunch started out great but at the end she still wasn't happy about something. I asked but she replied nothing's the problem. I had some more good gifts to give to her so I asked her to go to hostel and then all us friends will meet for dinner. She wasn't happy about this. I guess she wanted to stay with me but she also should understand that even her friends made out time for dinner with her. When we were going to the dinner, she asked if we're having dinner with friends, when will you stay with me? Then I couldn't hold it anymore in me. I literally started crying due to so much pressure. I was doing so much for her all day and still she wasn't happy with it. How was I to make out time for her when my parent expected me at home? Even she started crying then and started apologizing for her behavior and that she didn't mean to hurt me. That she's a terrible GF and I was too good for her. I never really tried to contemplate what was best for me to do there and just accepted what had happened and move on. She asked me to forget this and that this will never happen again. There are a few more instances but I don't want to make this post too long. Here are all the major ones that concerns me the most. I see no red flags here. She's not abusive or controlling, no hint of her cheating, no anger issues. I am just exhausted sometimes dealing with her mood swings. She promises that it won't happen again and apologizes very much every time it happens. Then she always asks me to never leave her, where I reassure her every time. But I just get anxious if I see any hint that another of her mood swings is coming. I don't want to hurt her and I just endure it till it's over again, but I want things to change. Can she improve, or is breaking up the better option here? Also, much time has elapsed since these issues happened and I wasn't so open back then. Is it uncool to suddenly just talk about all of it with her? Think she'll just break down if I discuss even one of it with her. Update 1: I live in India and the social culture here do not endorse having relationships before marriage. My parents are cool with it, but even they would freak out if they learn about my sex life. That's why we go to hotels here to have sex. Fellow Indians can confirm this fact. Sorry for creating confusion, I should have mentioned it in the post earlier. Also, my grandfather, 80 years old, lives with me, so I understand my parents' concern for COVID. I fixed the timeline, stating what happened during and before the pandemic. Update 2: thanks for all the comments, I really appreciated them all, even the critical ones. I know even I am also at fault here, not communicating properly and my parents interfering in my decision making. I guess I'm not ready for handling a relationship, and absolutely not this current one, which is so hard. I'll have a discussion with her next time. I'll try explaining that she is overlooking her mental issues and it's affecting my life. I'll encourage her to seek professional help, and also I'll ask her friends to spend more time with her. I will make myself clear that we must part ways, both for her sake and mine. Too long didn't read. My GF is very insecure and sometimes acts completely out of character, which is very difficult for me to handle. She doesn't have any close friends, I'm her only source of happiness, and she even had suicidal thoughts once. I can't decide whether I should stay on the hope that she'll get better or just break up with her.